ASTEP is an organization that uses the arts as a tool to empower children who are in incredibly impoverished situations. ASTEP stands for Artists Striving to End Poverty, and here at Shanti Bhavan, ASTEP uses art as a way to basically touch them artistically, to help them express themselves, to tell their stories.
And if two whole people believe in you, deep enough and strong enough, believe in you, hard enough and long enough, there's bound to be some other person.
These kids have a chance here to achieve things that children in this country have never been able to in the past, especially children from this level of poverty. They have potential and they have opportunities open to them that empower them to change the future.
And when all those people believe in you, deep enough and strong enough, believe in you, hard enough and long enough, it stands to reason you yourself will start to see what everybody sees in you.
It helps the children to give them an opportunity to study and make something out of their lives, because many children in the rural areas, they can't study and they don't get a proper education, and many of them are, when they grow up also, they are on the streets and they can't do anything. But Dr. George thought that education is the key to success, because if you get educated, you can go anywhere and you can study and you can make something out of your lives.
Dr. George has created the George Foundation. The George Foundation really approaches the very complicated issue of poverty in very multifaceted ways. Education is the key, and I think the George Foundation agrees that we will never have a society of people that aren't empowered until they are educated.
If you give opportunity and inspire them and motivate them and really love them, and they feel loved, they will do just fine. The background is not, it doesn't matter that much. So we all are very proud of them, and now they have reached the 10th grade, the oldest children, 14 years of age. Now Shanti Bhavan is now 10 years old. As a result, the world is watching how well these children are going to do, and I am very confident that they will do well.
Art creates a vehicle of expression for them that's very healthy. It gets them actually to go in and to see possibilities within themselves, and to also acknowledge that there has been tremendous pain, and that going through that pain in a creative way and expressing it and getting it out opens your life up to tremendous, tremendous healing. So it's a healing opportunity, and it's a teaching opportunity for them as well as for the volunteers.
Artistically, they're incredibly talented because they have a depth to their stories that most children don't have, because most children have not seen what they have seen.
The main thing that I hope that the kids actually get out of improvisational dance specifically is more comfort on stage and being themselves on stage. I think that it's really important for the kids to want to express themselves through movement, because I don't think they do that very often here. They're taught to do choreography, but I think they have an immense talent for improvisation and for dancing on their own and using movement therapy to their advantage.
Now, leave your front foot where it is. Remember, like we did third position? You slid the other foot together. Here we go.
So outside of Shanti Bhavan, we are surrounded by really 17 villages. I do think that the villages are slowly evolving forward, but they have such a long way to go, because we're discussing things that would be considered inhuman by Western standards.
None of them have plumbing. None of them have running water. A few of them have electricity.
Most of them live on less than 50 cents a day. 5 people in a family to, a 10 by 10 canvas and palm hut with their cow.
The government schools are incredibly minimal, you'll find 2 or 3 teachers that are trying to teach all grades, and a 10th grade class can be taught by someone who didn't pass 10th grade.
To see where they come from, to see their upbringings, to see the families, to see the homes they lived in. The word meager doesn't nearly suffice to cover the poverty that these children come from.
It's a real dichotomy of situations, and it's very difficult to find a lot of optimism in those areas. But the children, I should say, are incredibly bright, and every time we visit, they're eager to communicate with us and walk around with us, and very, very eager to connect.
They're running behind us, so excited to see anyone from the outside world. It broke my heart.
You know, and they've been abused, they've been neglected, and yet they come here and they have a haven, they have a real home.
Shanti Bhavan is nice, and it have so much of gardens, and we have fun in Shanti Bhavan, and even we have volunteers coming from different parts of the world.
The kids here at Shanti Bhavan are up against a lot. They're up against the social system that still practices the caste system. They're up against a lot of pressure to succeed. Luckily, most all of them are very driven, so that sort of pressure doesn't overwhelm them. In fact, in some ways, it even inspires them to do better.
These children are incredibly brave. They are full of life, they're full of energy, they are full of hope. They have great optimism and very large dreams. They dream big, and they're working hard.
So after Shanti Bhavan, when I grow up, I'll do my MBBS in India first, and then I'll do all my education in India, and I would like to join John Hopkins, and I was inspired by Vivian Thomas to become a cardiologist. So when I grow up, I'll become a cardiologist and save people from heart attacks. Shanti Bhavan will be very much involved in my life, because if I have any difficulties or problems, Shanti Bhavan will always be there for me. And also when I earn lots of money for my parents and for myself, and of course I will not forget Shanti Bhavan, because out of the millions of dollars I earn, I'll give back 10% of it to Shanti Bhavan, because I must always pay back from the place where I come from.